Brody!
How's it going? Hi, welcome to BaSex. I'm Jade.
And I'm Dani. We are sex educators for Enchantities, lingerie, adult boutique thingy, this place. We're here.
And in our spare time, we just read way too many books pertaining to sex, sexuality, and probably listening to the vagina monologues a little bit too religiously. Yeah.
So in this episode, we're going to be talking about our firsts. So it's another just personal get-to-know-you episode. We are here at Enchantities 45th Street because we've been working a lot of opposite shifts lately, and so it's been really hard for us to film. Hey. So without further ado, which one do you want to do first?
Well, we got this
We have a
little
list. So I'm thinking kiss.
I like how this thing is labeled short list, and it's like a tiny piece of paper. That's cute. So a few different firsts. We have actually actually I think we should start there and then work into it because that's kind of like a weird progression, I think.
Well, so in a lot of people's minds, it's kind of like kiss, masturbate, sex. Mine wasn't in that order.
What was your order?
Masturbate. So we've got, okay, just to specify, we've got masturbate, PIV, which is penis and vagina, or the traditional views of sex, oral sex, kissing, orgasm, squirting, and first toy. So I've got masturbate, kiss, sex, no, masturbate, kiss, oral, PIV, toy, orgasm, squirt.
Okay.
Woo! So I guess I'll start with masturbation. My first masturbation experiences that I can remember, I remember being in, I think, 7th grade and just rubbing on everything. Like, somehow stair banisters that were attached to the wall and like chairs and just being like, this this feels good. I'm okay with this. And just rubbing a lot.
Now, children just humping things, one thing aside, at what point was it just straight up masturbation? You couldn't even deny it. It was just, that was...
I don't know.
No?
My memory is awful. This
Yeah,
is a great video for the two of us.
Do you have like a first toy or something?
That wasn't until much, much later.
Oh, okay. I think that's actually on the list, ain't it?
Yeah, toy.
So, let's see. We're starting...
I know that when Jade was a baby, he would just like drop trow and like play with his jumblies.
Really?
Yeah. You were little and you were just like, you just have a hand down your diaper. His mom told me.
Cool. Whatever as an early starter. Let's see. I don't know. Kiss was admittedly like first grade.
Wow.
Yeah. Just like girls like me. I don't know what happened.
I remember in first grade I was part of this thing called the Kissy Club. So like shout out to the other Kissy Club members.
All three of
we
you.
would, I think there were 3 of us. And we would chase the boys and pretend that we were gonna kiss them in first grade. So, hey.
Let's see. Okay, but going into masturbation. I don't know. I probably had like the similar basis of like kids humping stuff, but like for me, the first time I actually like
masturbated.
Knew it was masturbation. This is just a funny story because like for any of the other fanboys of Raven from the Teen Titans, like in the animated like thing, I was just like when that show was first coming out, like I don't remember what year that would have been, so I don't know how old I was, but I was just little mini Jade, and I hadn't really gotten like like the talk yet. I think I was just for me the talk was like, here, we got you a book, and it was entitled What's Going On Down There, which was funny as all hell because back then being super dyslexic, not really a fan of reading, I never read the book, so like it's funny now that it's just like this is what we do, and then just like realistically that I don't know if I really ever got the talk. It was funny, but yeah. So like back then it was just literally just a matter of like kind of doing this, or it's like it feels good, and then you just stop when you get tired, and it's like whatever. But like specifically, and I just remember this, it wasn't anything like overly overtly sexual. It was just the way the cartoon looked. Her full uniform wasn't any imagination of any like penetration or anything, and just was doing it, and then suddenly out of nowhere like something happened. And I was like, what the hell is this? Partially freaking out.
I made a mess.
I didn't want to like call any attention to it because it's just like I think I'm okay. It like felt good. Like I'm just my immediate thing is like I'm not like injured, so I didn't ask anybody for help. I just went and like washed my hands, and then it was after that I kind of like looked into the book to be like maybe this talks about that. But yeah, so that'd be my first thing. So like needless to say, I'm really excited to bring that cartoon back. Hey.
Well, and the thing is too is like I'm totally working on a cosplay of her. Right
Oh yeah,
now,
there you go.
And you're kind of excited. I've got the leotard. I just need the cape and the complicated accessories.
Yeah.
Let's see what's
the
next.
next one?
So my first kiss. I think my first kiss was in 9th grade on a bus with my like boyfriend who I went out for. I think we dated for a couple weeks, if that. It wasn't a very. I mean, it was a freshman year relationship. It didn't last very long, so no big deal.
For me, like so we already did like the first kiss, but the first like adult kiss with like tongue and stuff.
Adult kiss.
Yeah. Like after Snowball, I think it was a Snowball dance during like middle school, I think. Middle school relationship lasted, I think it was like 2 years or something, but yeah, like that was like driving her home, and then it's just like, can I get a kiss? And I was like, sure. And just like, it was like the quick little like, yeah thing, right? And then it just turned into that, and I was just like, okay, this is happening now, so cool.
What's going
and
on?
like, yeah, it was just kind of funny, because I was just like, that was the basis to it, but it was just like, yeah, whatever.
Let's see. Oral. I don't know if I necessarily remember my first oral experience.
I don't think I do either, no.
I remember, the first time I saw, well, a couple firsts of seeing a penis. So my first like full frontal was Life of Brian from
Yeah.
Monty Python.
Yep.
And
That might have
then
been my first,
my
too.
first like in person was another high school boyfriend where I think he had an erection and I was like trying to pull his pants down while leaving his underwear up, and that didn't work. So I just pantsed. I think I was on my knees. I pulled down his pants, but his underwear came with it, and there was like a thing, and it just went boing, and I was like, ah! And I'm like,
Why are you trying to take down his pants if you're
I
only
don't
trying to
know.
get the D?
I have no idea.
I actually know mine. This was like specifically little Jade. We were going to Hot Springs in South Dakota, and there was like a male locker room. So that was my first time of like just changing, and there's just like a
In-person penis.
naked guy, and I was just like, that seems awkward. But
Seems
yeah.
awkward. So yeah, oral. I think I've always been a fan of giving oral. I don't know why I wrote it down because I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Like I know,
Oops.
like
I'm pretty sure that oral and hand jobs came before PIV sex for me.
I just don't have anything as far as like any of a solid basis of like one in particular moment.
There
that
wasn't
seemed,
really
like,
anything
especially,
memorable.
Like different.
Let's see. My first PIV experience. I got kind of lucky. I always knew where babies come from, as far back as I can remember, and so I knew what sex was. My mom was like, "Hey," when I got serious with my first boyfriend. My mom sat me down and sort of had like the real talk of it, and it was more along the lines of like, hey, I really want you to be careful and have safe sex. And so she bought me the 40 packs of condoms. And it was like, hey, are you good on condoms? And would check in every once in a while. I was like, hey, do you need more condoms? So my first experience was in the upstairs living room of my parents' house. Obviously no foreplay, so it was pretty dry and like awkward, and it didn't last very long. It was just not great. And then I went and talked with my mom. I was like, hey mom, I think I'm ready to start having sex. And then she's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And then ended up not having sex for another couple, like, months. Anyway.
So mine would have been the same person from that snowball dance. Like, I think I lost my virginity around like 13 or something.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it was like the main thing as far as like mess and stuff. We didn't really go for my like climax really at all for the sake of just less to clean up. So like,
That's so like considerate. Just
yeah. But like, I don't know. It wasn't ever anything like particularly like bad or anything. It was just it was like a lot of like just like do that and then stop, because it was like all in like the her family house's like basement. So I think we got caught like twice. So that was a thing.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, it's the funny thing in a lot of houses in Fargo, there's like it's a split level. So it's the entryway on the ground level, and then you can either go up or down. And I'm pretty sure so many teenagers have had sex in the down.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's just quieter down there. Like, it was whatever. But yeah, no, it's cool. Like, it's just, as far as any first time goes, like, I can't necessarily remember the specifics to it, but like, I'm sure there's like a basis of like a little bit of trial and error beforehand. But what else we got?
Let's see. First toy. So my mom, again being the really cool sex positive person she is, she bought me my first toy. So, and that's actually what got me started working here. So I found a book of hers that was, I think it was like 101 sex toys. I was like, hey mom, this looks really interesting. Can I borrow it? And she's like, yeah, sure. And then we lived like right around the corner from the high school. So I would sometimes come home for lunch. And I got home at lunch one day, and there was this really beautiful box on my bed, like black and white brocade, just kind of padded and had like a label thingy in the front. And I was like, oh, this is a really cool box. I open it. I don't know why I would have opened it. It's a box. It's just like a storage box. And there's this little thing inside, and it was a Wenatchee, the little black battery operated one. And I was like, it says waterproof massager. What's a massager? Massager, waterproof. This is a sex toy! Oh!
Nice.
And so and I think there were batteries that she included too. And just kind of tentatively like turning it on and checking it out and seeing how it felt in different areas.
So for me, first experience actually like seeing a sex toy is actually different than my actual first toy, because of course growing up mom owned this store, and this is just a fun story, but it was like specifically what would that have been? I think this was like either 2003 or 2004, is just around the time when the store opened. And one thing that we kind of run into with a lot of just products in general, like it's the same thing with any type of electronics, dead on delivery. There's some things with there where just like a little connection or something gets loose, and then the sex toy is just not going to turn on. And that's why we test everything before it leaves to make sure it works. Well, occasionally we'll have an employee that's just like, I threw batteries in it, it's not working, can't figure it out. And a lot of times that is just like a user error thing. So we have this designated like time frame when we do our damages, where it's just products that we have removed from inventory as being damaged. And then we sit down, we look through everything, double check it, and again, it's like upwards of like 70% of the time something's getting like damaged out. Completely fine.
It was just like
a matter
new
of user error, like the batteries were put in there wrong. Yeah. And so we now of course do that like in our office, and we have like a little team, and we go through everything. It's a really nice system now. Back in the dark ages of 2003, it was a matter that like that would just kind of build up, and there'd be multiple boxes of like just stuff that needed to be tested, and there wasn't that much office space at the old location when everything was first going. So a lot of times Kim would just take these boxes to the house and work on them there. Well, one in particular day, I get out of school and I only lived like roughly around like 8 blocks away from my house, so I'd usually just walk. But this in particular day, I took my bike, and it was a matter that suddenly I'm making it home significantly faster. Well, come in the door, and it just is a matter that my room's over here, the living room's here, walk into the living room as Kim is just frantically trying to shove all these things into the box, and the first thing I do is look down as she's like, don't look. So I look, and there's just, like, Technicolor dildos and penises everywhere. Which was really funny because this would have been when I was in 3rd grade and I was telling all my teachers about how my mom owned a clothing store. And as that day, little JD realized it's not just
It's not a clothing store.
So I was just like, that's really weird. Nope. And just kind of walked out like, I don't know what's going on there, but okay. I don't even think me and Mom ever talked about that. It was just like, that's a thing that's just common in our house, I guess.
Decapitated?
Not decapitated, like just dissected penises everywhere. And it's like, okay, that's weird. But yeah, so that would be my first time
Seeing one.
a sex toy, let alone an entire plethora. And then my first actual sex toy was on my 18th birthday. Like specifically, I turned 18, and Mom got me like a little care package of like. I think there was several condoms and stuff in there, a bottle of ID Aqua lube, a little stroker, and a 18 like DVD. That was just all it was. And so that was my first porn, my first lube, not my first like condoms, but and then first sex toy. And I was just like, that's cool, I guess, da-da-da. It was like kind of like an awkward like gift thing, and like, yeah, the thing ripped in like 2 uses, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm sure there's all kinds of different ones, whatever. And then it took me like forever to go into the store and actually buy one, and I can't remember. I think my first one that I actually bought for myself was just like a regular fleshlight, but yeah.
See, my siblings had it easy. My mom had me as the guinea pig, and so she bought me my first toy. But both of my siblings came of age when I was working here. So I got the little like battery operated Wenatchee. My sister got a
fully rechargeable 5,000 rems per second fuck machine.
Well, it was just a little rechargeable bullet, but like a quality bullet. And then I think my brother just got kind of an okay stroker, because I mean, teenage boys are probably not gonna take care of something like a fleshlight, but still. Okay, so moving on to first orgasm. So for me, my first orgasm didn't happen until we got together, because I didn't really masturbate very much. My hands are much more sensitive than my genitals, so I didn't really like touching myself, and the little vibe that I had just didn't really do it for me. So I didn't self-pleasure like hardly ever until we got together, and you've been very encouraging of that, so thank you for all of the orgasms. And I think it was probably a Hitachi, which we still have. It's going strong. That thing lasts forever. There's a reason it's been around since the 70s. So I think that was I don't know if it was I don't remember a specific incident, or not incident, but like a specific happening. But I know it's been since we were together and with the Hitachi.
I think I already covered mine with the whole first.
Yeah, with the Raven and the. Okay, and then the last one that we have is squirting, and that's specific to me because I'm a vulva owner. So I remember the first time I squirted with a partner and the first time I squirted with a toy. So for me, I don't know how many other people experience this, but for me, ejaculation is completely separate from orgasm, like completely separate. And so my first squirting was with you. I think we were in Cowgirl.
Yep.
And I was like, oh no, I just peed on you. Oh no.
I had to like calm you down.
Ran
and
to
be
the
like,
bathroom and was like so embarrassed. Like grabbed a towel and was like, I'm sorry, I peed on you.
Yeah, and then I had to like calm you down. I was like,
No, you're
"Hun,
fine."
it's not what that was. Like, calm down." Like for me, several experiences throughout college. So like that's why I was completely chill on it, because I was just like, okay, like that happens, it's fine. And I was just like, oh, you've never experienced this before. Okay, well, hey, it's cool. Just
You're good.
yeah.
Like held me and was like, you're okay, you didn't pee on me. And then first squirting with a toy, it was again the Hitachi and a G-spot toy. Because, surprise, G-spot and squirting goes together. And this is probably one of the few negative memories that I have of firsts. Because you were in the shower and I was on the bed and I was using the Hitachi and the G-spot toy, and you happened to get out of the shower as I was climaxing. And so I was like on my side using both toys, and I started squirting and you freaked out. You're like, oh no, not on the bed. And so like kind of interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
And so like traumatized me, and you like had a towel and you're like, oh no, not the bed.
Oh,
Looking back, you're like,
because that was when we had just gotten the mattress top ones, so like those
really?
ones, yeah, because like those ones get gross really quick
Oh.
on any moisture that gets stuck in there. Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah, you should be. So that's probably the only like sex negative experience that I've had with you.
It's okay. Now we don't need to worry
Yeah.
about that, because that mattress is
No.
already nasty.
It's time for us to get a new mattress. Now, for some reason now, I swear every time I squirt, it's on your side of the bed.
I think you do that on purpose.
A little bit.
Like specifically, just pick up yourself some rubberized sheets and everything's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's everything that we had.
Yeah,
to
I
cover,
think,
though.
okay, so masturbate,
kind of a fun
PIV,
video.
oral, kiss, orgasm, squirt, toy.
All right.
Checklist is good.
Well, at any rate, guys, this has been the BaSex of first.
Or BaSex's first.
BaSex's first.
Or BaSex first.
First.
We're not good at the whole
First
name.
BaSex's.
Hey!
Because it sounds like first bases.
Ooh, oh.
Yeah, that works. That's the title. Good job. Got it.
So,
Where can they find us
thanks
online?
for watching. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And,
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
bye.
Perfect time.
We'll
Yeah.